तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैता
I request Chairman Sikasa, CA JM, to say a few words about today's speaker, CA Chundur Sudhir.
Thank you, sir. It's a privilege to introduce today's speaker, CA Chunduru Garu, Sudhir Garu, renowned speaker in both direct taxes and indirect taxes. So a brief introduction about him. CA Chunduru Sudhir is a chartered accountant by profession. He has been consistent topper at school and college level. He has completed both CA and CMA at young age of 21. His achievements during study: All India 6th ranker at final level, All India 43rd rank at CWA inter level, received Pratibha Puruskar award from AP state government in intermediate, and he is a district first ranker in intermediate. Achievements in profession: given various seminars of accounting and chartered accountants of accounts and chartered accountants at Vijayawada branch, Ongole branch, Elur, Visannapeta, Tiruvur and Machilipatnam. As of now, he presented 9 and 9C in 15 plus seminars. He has taken CPA lectures at Vijayawada, Eluru, Kakinada, ICIA branches. Achievements in professional teaching: deals with direct and indirect tax to CA final and CMA final students from past 6 years. Taught to more than 2,500 students as of now. By this, I give over the current session to Sudhir Garu.
Sir, YouTube.
Yes, sir. YouTube live is on, sir. Welcome, Sudhir Garu. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome, sir. Sudhir Garu.
Sir, good evening. So I thank Vijayawada branch of ICA for giving me this opportunity. So long back, we have had a discussion regarding this place of supply and time of supply. So now let us have a quick recap along with the amendments which has taken place. So now first let me share the screen. Yeah, first beginning with the topic place of supply. Sir, place of supply, first of all, what is the importance of this chapter? Generally, in order to decide which type of GST is to be paid, whether we have to pay IGST or CGST and SGST, it depends upon location of supplier and place of supply. If it is in the same state, we are going to levy CGST and SGST. If it is in different state, we are going to levy IGST. So here, what we are going to learn is location of supply is very easy to understand. Wherever in which state he got registered, it becomes the location of the supplier. But place of supply is very hard. 4 sections have been introduced in IGST Act to decide the place of supply. Section 10, Section 11, Section 12, and Section 13. 4 sections have been specified in IGST Act to determine the term place of supply. So based on the place of supply only, we are going to decide the type of GST is to be paid. For every activity, here we are going to learn the place of supply. In case of goods, what is the place of supply? And second part, in case of service, what is the place of supply? After knowing the place of supply, just whether based on place of supply, can I say whether interstate or intrastate? No. This place of supply should be compared with the location of supplier. And then based on that, we have to pay the correct GST. So here, in case of goods, where supplier and also recipient is located in India, that means seller and also buyer, both were located in India. In such case, how to decide the place of supply? It was given in section 10 of IGST Act. 5 cases were being specified in this section 10. And in case of imports and exports, that means in case of imports, buyer is in India, seller is in outside India. In case of exports, seller is in India, buyer is in outside India. There, how to determine the place of supply has been given in section 11 of IGST Act, where we learned 2 cases, number 1 regarding imports and number 2 regarding exports. Coming to the third part, in case of services, where both supplier and also recipient both were located in India, here 13 cases were specified in section 12. When any person, either supplier or recipient, if any person is located outside India, then how to determine the place of supply is being given in section 13 of IGST Act. There we are going to learn 10 cases. That means to determine place of supply. So total we are going to learn 5 plus 2 7, 7 plus 13 20, 20 plus 10 30. Total 30 cases we are going to learn in today's session. So with no loss of time, let me begin with section 10 first. Very, very important section. Even still now, many of the accountants do not have clarity whether which type of GST is to be levied. Even in case of interstate supply also, they are levying CGST and SGST. So correct classification is very important. So first case deals with the movement of goods. Sir, section 10 and 11 deals with goods. Section 11 and 12 deals with services. So first we are going to learn the place of supply in case of goods. First, we are going to learn the place of supply in case of goods. So in case of goods, here what was given? Wherever there is a movement of goods, what was given here is wherever there is a movement of goods, then how to determine the place of supply? That means, for example, the goods were moving from Andhra Pradesh to Gujarat. So in this case, since the sale has been completed in Andhra Pradesh, whether CGST and SGST is to be raised, or since the goods were being transported from Andhra Pradesh to Gujarat, IGST is to be levied. So here we have to determine the place of supply. Here what they have determined here is the place where the movement of goods terminates. The term that was used here is terminates. Wherever the movement of good terminates, there we are going to pay there we are going to determine the place of supply. That means if the goods were moving from Andhra Pradesh to Gujarat, in such case, where the movement is going to get terminated? In Gujarat. So Gujarat will be called as the place of supply. Location of supply, sir, just based on place of supply, we should not say IGST or CGST. Here, when goods were moving from Andhra Pradesh to Gujarat, the movement of good will terminate at Gujarat. So Gujarat is the place of supply. This place of supply is to be compared with the location of the supplier. So where the supplier is located? In Andhra Pradesh. So Andhra Pradesh seller is going to sell the goods to a dealer who was located in Gujarat. So in this case, IGST is to be levied because the place of supply is the place where the goods terminate for delivery. Here comes another question. Sir, if that person who was located in Gujarat, that person has come to Andhra Pradesh and he has purchased the goods and he has arranged his own transportation and taken the goods to Gujarat. Let us assume, sir, I am the seller, I am located in Andhra Pradesh. You are the buyer, you are located in Gujarat. You have come from Gujarat to Andhra Pradesh. To my business premises you have come and you have taken the delivery. On your own, you have arranged your transportation and you are taking the goods to your state, Gujarat. In this case, which GST I have to charge? Since the sale has been completed in Andhra Pradesh, in my business premises itself, from my point of view, sale is completed. Should I charge CGST and SGST or IGST? Sir, here, movement of goods may be caused either by supplier or any other person. In this first point, what they have specified is there should be movement of goods. Whether that movement of goods should be caused only by the supplier? No, that condition is not given. Movement of goods can be caused either by the supplier or recipient. Anyone can cause the movement of goods. So supplier directly delivering the goods to Gujarat, or Gujarat dealer coming to Andhra Pradesh and purchasing, whatever may be the case. Which GST we need to levy, sir? IGST only to be levied. Because in both the cases, the place where the movement of good terminates, if recipient is going to arrange his own transportation, where he is going to end the delivery of the goods in his state, in Gujarat only, it finally ends. So it is a different state. So IGST is to be levied. So here movement of goods may be caused either by the seller or buyer. Any person may cause the movement of goods, but ultimately the place of termination determines the place of supply. Okay. There might be some special case which was given in point number 2. Bill to ship to model. What is the second case, sir? Bill to ship to. This causes some confusion. So let me give answer this with a perfect example. Here the example was given. If you see, Mr. X, he is a supplier who was registered in Uttar Pradesh. He is having principal place of business at Noida. He asks Mr. Y of Ahmedabad, Gujarat, to deliver 50 washing machines to his buyer who was located in Rajasthan. Sir, many confusions here. Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, 3 states were given. So how to determine the place of supply? Sir, here first of all, between which 2 persons the transaction is being made? Here this is bill to ship to model, sir. What do you mean by this term? Here Mr. X has asked Mr. Y to deliver the goods. That means Mr. Y is the seller. Mr. X is the buyer. Y is the seller, X is the buyer. But what they have specified is X didn't ask to deliver in Uttar Pradesh. He has one of the customer at Rajasthan. He asked Mr. Y to deliver the goods at Rajasthan. So ultimately, in this case, Y will raise bill to Mr. X, but ship to Mr. Z. That means goods will be billed in the name of Mr. X. Bill will be raised in the name of Mr. X, but delivery will be made to Mr. Z. This is called bill to X, ship to Z. Bill to ship to model we will say. Generally, in first point, what I have specified, sir, wherever there is a delivery of good, that will be called as the place of supply. Here, the delivery is being made at Rajasthan to Mr. Z of Rajasthan. Ultimately, delivery is made. Can I say Rajasthan as the place of supply? No, because in bill to ship to model, what they have specified here is, if you observe, principal place of business of the third person. Here, what do you mean by the term third person? Here, third person means nothing but Mr. X, because here Y is the person who is selling and he is delivering the goods to Mr. Z Rajasthan. But Rajasthan should not be said as the place of supply. Generally, the movement of good here terminates at Rajasthan, but Rajasthan is not the place of supply. Place of supply of the Mr. X, Uttar Pradesh. Here, if you see, the principal place of business of Mr. X located at Noida. Here it was given. Registered in Uttar Pradesh, having principal place of business at Noida. This Noida will be treated as the place of supply. That means in this special case, what we have learned, even though the goods were delivered at Rajasthan, place of supply will be Noida. Because in case of bill to ship to model, principal place of business of third person. Third person means nothing but on whose name the bill has been raised. Here, third person means nothing but on whose name the bill has been raised. We need this. Okay. So now let us continue. So first case we have learned where there is a movement of good, how to determine. I have decided in first point. And in second point, what I have specified, bill to ship to model, what is the place of supply we have learned. Now coming to the third point, where there is no movement of the goods either by the supplier nor the recipient. Sir, what do you mean by the term there is no movement of the good? So here you can go through the example, sir. For each and every aspect, I have given one example. Here if you see, Mr. A, New Delhi, has leased his mission to Mr. B. That means this has begun as a service. They have given it as a lease. They have begun the transaction as a service. But later what happened? At a monthly rent of 40,000. That means this is nothing but a service. After 14 months, Mr. B has requested Mr. A to sell the machine to him for 4 lakhs. That means it has begun as a service transaction, but later this was converted into a sale of a good. The supply of a service is being converted into a supply of a good. That means initially only Mr. A has leased his machine to Mr. B. That means now where the goods were lying, the goods were in the premises of Mr. B. Now without any movement of the good, the supply of service has converted into a supply of a good. Without any movement of goods, ultimately the goods were being sold by Mr. A to Mr. B. So in such case, what will be treated as the place of supply? The location at the time of delivery to the recipient. So now where the goods were located, in Mr. A premises or Mr. B premises? Now the goods were located in Mr. B premises. Mr. B is the lessee. Now that lessee is only the buyer. So where he is located? In Noida, Uttar Pradesh. Such Noida, Uttar Pradesh will be regarded as the place of supply. This is case number 3. So total in goods cases, we are in section 10. In section 10, how many points I said, how many cases we are going to learn? 5 cases. In that 5 cases, the first case where there is a movement of good. So what is the place of supply? The place where the movement of good terminates for delivery to the recipient. Number 2, in case of bill to ship to model, what is the place of supply? The place of business of the third person. A third person means nothing but on whose name the bill has been raised. And number 3, where there is no movement of good. What does it mean? Supply of service converted into supply of good. In such case, the place where they were located, the place at the time of such conversion of service into good, the place where it was located becomes the place of supply. So by this, we have completed 3 aspects. Now coming to point number 4, where the goods are assembled or installed at site. So let us take centralized AC as example. Centralized AC. So AC split AC directly we can purchase in showrooms, in open market. But whereas centralized AC directly we cannot purchase. So parts they are going to bring to our premises and they are going to assemble at our premises. So this will be called as a service or a sale. This is nothing but sale only. Each and every part slowly they are going to bring to our premises and they are going to assemble here. After assemble, it is going to become a good. They are going to raise a single bill for centralized AC. For each and every part, they are not going to give bill. They are going to raise a single bill. So in this case, what will be the place of supply? Here there is no movement of good. Parts were being in movement, but ultimately it was being assembled at one premises. So in such case, what will be the place of supply? The place where the goods are assembled. For example, so to my office premises, so I am going to, I want a centralized AC. I have given contract to a person who was located in Uttar Pradesh. That Uttar Pradesh contractor has come to Andhra Pradesh. Here only he has purchased some material and installed at my office. Now he is going to raise the bill. Which bill he need to raise? CGST plus SGST or IGST? Sir, he has come to Andhra Pradesh. Here he has made installation. What is the place of supply? Place of supply is the place where the goods are assembled. That means nothing but AP only. But this place of supply should be compared with location of supplier. Where is the location of supplier? He is a person located in Uttar Pradesh. So from Uttar Pradesh to, he has come to Andhra Pradesh and he has performed installation services. Location of supplier is Uttar Pradesh, whereas place of supply is Andhra Pradesh. Now tell me, which GST is to be levied? IGST is to be levied. Okay. So this was the fourth case. In case where the goods are assembled or installed at site, the place where the goods are assembled or installed, determines the place of supply. So now let us come for the fifth point. Where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance like vessel, aircraft, train or motor vehicle. Sir, let us take a perfect example. Sir, there is a train. So from Chennai to Delhi. So a person is traveling in a train from Chennai to Delhi. Sir, in train, food will be sold, but supply of food is a service. But some MRP labeled goods also will be sold, like biscuit packets or some snack items where MRP has been affixed, like Lays, Kurkure, etc. biscuits. So they are going to, if such goods were being sold during travel, or some books, nowadays some earphones also were being sold in the train. So like this, if the goods were sold in the train is being traveled from Chennai to New Delhi. Through many states it is going to go. Now what will be called as the place of supply? For example, now the train has reached Andhra Pradesh. Now it is in Vijayawada train. Now if any book has been sold or any earphone has been sold, now what is the place of supply? Can I say Andhra Pradesh is the place of supply? He should get registration in Andhra Pradesh. He has to pay GST here. In every state, if he gets registration like this, so it takes a lot of time. So what they have specified here is on board a conveyance in vessel, aircraft, train, motor vehicles. Like this, if goods were being sold, in such case, what will be the place of supply? Where it was taken on board the conveyance. That means where the goods were loaded. Where the goods were loaded into the conveyance. The goods were loaded in Andhra Pradesh, sir. Even though it was sold at Haryana. Then Andhra Pradesh becomes the place of supply. If the goods were loaded in Chennai, even though it was sold in Andhra Pradesh, Chennai will become the place of supply. Because what was specified here, where the goods were supplied on board a conveyance like vessel, aircraft, the place where it has taken on board the conveyance they have specified. Here if you see the example, sir, Mr. X is a who was located in New Delhi. He boards New Delhi Kota Rain at New Delhi. He sells MRP goods taken on board by him at New Delhi at Jaipur during journey. Even though the goods were sold at Jaipur, even though they were sold at Rajasthan, New Delhi will be regarded as a place of supply because in New Delhi only they have taken on board. That's why the place of supply is the location at which goods are taken on board. That is New Delhi and not the Jaipur. Okay. So like this, 5 transactions have been specified, sir. So let us have a quick recap and enter into the next aspect. Section 10 we have completed. Total 4 sections were being specified in the chapter place of supply. So in which we have completed first section, section 10. Number 1, where there is movement of goods, wherever the goods were terminated for delivery, it becomes the place of supply. Case number 2, bill to ship to model. Principal place of business of the third person becomes the place of supply. That means in whose name the bill has been done, that becomes the place of supply. Number 3, where there is no movement of goods at all, then where the goods were located at the time of delivery forms the place of supply. Number 4, installation or assembly. In such case, the place where the goods are installed or assembled becomes the place of supply. Number 5, on board a conveyance, the place where the goods were taken on board the conveyance forms the place of supply. So 5 cases we have completed. Next, let us come for section 11. Place of supply of goods imported and exported. Very, very easy. In case of imports, location of the importer is the place of supply. That's why on imports, which GST we are going to pay? On imports, IGST we will pay. We are not going to pay CGST and SGST because imports is an interstate supply. Here, location of the importer is the place of supply. So where is the supplier? Supplier is located outside India because it is import, no. That means seller is in outside India. Whereas buyer, the importer is in India. The place of supply is in India. But location of supplier must be compared with place of supply. Location of the supplier is outside India, whereas place of supply is in India. So they are two different states. That's why in case of imports, IGST will be levied. In case of imports, IGST will be levied because in section 11, it was clearly specified that in case of imports, location of importer forms the place of supply. And in case of exports, what is the place of supply? The location outside India. That's why in case of the exports were being specified as zero rated supplies. Zero rated supplies means option 1, if we submit LUT without any payment of GST, we can export the goods. Option 2, on payment of IGST, we have to pay IGST, and such IGST paid can be claimed as refund. So two options were being given for exports. So here, in case of exports, location outside India is the place of supply. In case of imports, the location of the importer is the place of supply. So by this, we have completed section 11 also. That means goods transaction, place of supply, we have completed. Now let us enter into service transactions. For service transactions, two sections have been given. For service transactions, two sections have been given, section 12 and section 13. Many surprising things also we are going to learn in these sections till now. So many persons might not have complied with these provisions, but it's better to comply. Once my discussion is completed, automatically you can have a clarification on these aspects. Number 1, first service. Service wise, we are going to discuss immobile property related services, including accommodation. That means, let us take hotels as example. Sir, generally bank audits we are going to get in the same state. Let us assume I got a bank audit at New Delhi. So now from Andhra Pradesh to I am going to New Delhi. There I am going to have my stay. Whether that hotel will charge CGST and SGST or IGST. And I have GST registration. I am giving my GST number also. I am giving my GST number also. Now, the hotel room where it was located in New Delhi. So here, in case of immobile property related services, what they have specified is location at which the immobile property is located is the place of supply. The location at which the immobile property is located. Now, where the property is located? The property is located in New Delhi. Place of supply is New Delhi. This place of supply should be compared with the location of the supplier. Where is the location of the supplier? Location of supplier is also New Delhi. Place of supply is also New Delhi. Both were located in the same state. So what the hotel will charge now? CGST and SGST only. Sir, I was located in Andhra Pradesh. If they charge IGST, I will get input tax credit. Not possible. Since the hotel is in New Delhi, that state only should get the benefit. That state should get the CGST plus SGST should go to that state. If IGST is charged, it will go to common fund. The state is not going to get the benefit. That's why keeping it into view. So what they have specified here is, keeping it into view, what they have specified here is, in case of immobile property transactions, the place where the immobile property is located. Okay, next. Coming to the next aspect, So in case of immobile property related services, what is the place of supply? The place where the immobile property is located forms the place of supply. But if that immobile property is located outside India, if the immobile property is located outside India, then place of supply is the location of the recipient. That this special point has been given here. So let us go one by one, sir. Here 4 examples I have given for better understanding. Number 1, sir, here immobile property related services means not only hotel rooms, even construction service also. The place where the property is constructed forms the place of supply. Here if you see, KTS Builders, who were located in Mumbai, is constructing a factory building for PLM Private Limited Kolkata in New Delhi. The place of supply. So what becomes the place of supply in this case? So in this case, the factory building is located in Mumbai. Mumbai is constructing a factory building in New Delhi. So since the factory building is being constructed in New Delhi, so this New Delhi forms the place of supply. This New Delhi will be regarded as the place of supply, the place where the property is located. Coming to second service, Shaw and Shaw, an architectural firm which was located at Kolkata, it has hired MKF Builders of Mumbai to draw up a plan. So this plan, architect service is also immobile property related service. So for immobile property, he is going to draw a plan. He is going to execute a plan. It is also an immobile property service. For them, what is the place of supply? Here, place of supply is nothing but the place where the property is located. Their building is being constructed at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So that Ahmedabad, Gujarat will be regarded as the place of supply. Okay, next. Sir, here what happens if the property is located outside India? What does it mean? Sir, I have appointed one of the architect to draw a plan for the house to be constructed at US. Sir, in US, I want to build a house. I have a land in United States of America. There I want construction, for which architect of India is going to execute a plan. Sir, the supplier is in India, recipient, I am also in India, but the property is located outside India. Whenever the property is located outside India, you should not tell this as export of service. The place of supply is the location of the recipient. That means nothing but this GST only should be levied. If you see this point number 4, Mr. X is a consulting engineer based in Mumbai, renders professional service in respect of immobile property at of Mr. Y located in Australia. Sir, here even though property is in Australia, service provider Mr. X is in Mumbai, service receiver Mr. Y is in Bangalore. When both supplier and recipient both are in India, then as per section 12, what will be regarded as the place of supply? The location of the recipient. Recipient, where he is there, he is located in Bangalore. The Bangalore becomes the place of supply. Even though property is in Australia, Bangalore will be regarded as the place of supply. So this is point number 1. First service we have completed. Let me enter for second service. Restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health service. Sir, let us discuss one by one. First one, restaurant and catering services. Sir, for restaurant and catering services, what is the place of supply? Sir, if I am going to have a food at New Delhi restaurant, that New Delhi restaurant, will it charge CGST and SGST or IGST? It will charge CGST, SGST only. Because here what was being specified is, for restaurant and catering services, the location where the service is actually performed, where they are going to perform the service in hotel. The hotel is going to become the place of supply. The hotel is going to become the place of supply. Okay. Here there is a question which was been asked here. In case of Bucks contract performed in different state, in which state GST registration has to take? In which state he has to take GST registration? Is it the location where the service is performed? Yes. So in that state, he is going to get a casual taxable person registration. Or if casual taxable person registration will be given only for 90 days, much for 90 more days they can get extension, maximum 180 days. More than 180 days, if you want registration, then what you need to do? Then regular registration only you have to do. So in that state, they need to get the registration. For architect services and all, registration is not required. When we need to get registration in another state, if we have a place of business, then only we are going to have a casual taxable person registration. So now coming back, restaurant and catering services, personal grooming like salon and all, fitness, gym, fitness means nothing but gym centers, beauty treatment, beauty parlors, and health service, even doctors. Sir, medical treatment is exempted. No, medical treatment is exempted, but some luxury services like hair transplantation, and plastic surgery, not due to accident, but general face hair transplantation, plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery, these are liable to GST. These are liable to GST. So in such case, what will be the place of supply? The location where the service is actually performed. The location where the service is actually performed. In which state they provide the service, it becomes the place of supply. This place of supply is to be compared with the location of supplier, and based on that only we are going to decide which type of GST is to be levied. Next, training and performance appraisal. Next one is training and performance appraisal. So training services, if it is for a B2B transaction, the location of such registered persons. For example, if I am sending 4 of my staff to Mumbai for the purpose of getting trained in one SAP software. 4 of my staff were going to Mumbai for the purpose of training in one of SAP software. In such case, what is the place of supply? Since they were going to Mumbai and in Mumbai they are taking training, whether CGST and SGST is to be levied? No. In case of B2B transactions, location of such registered person, that means recipient. Sir, I have GST registration in Andhra Pradesh and I am sending my staff to Mumbai. So now what they have to charge? They have to charge IGST so that I can get input tax credit. Even though training is being provided at Mumbai, in case of B2B transactions, location of such registered person will be regarded as the place of supply. And in case of B2C, this was not a business transaction. My staff has personally went to Mumbai for the purpose of training. Now that Mumbai Institute, will it charge CGST, SGST or IGST? CGST and SGST only will be charged because that is B2C transaction. In case of B2C transaction, the location where the service is actually performed forms the place of supply. But in case of B2B transaction, the location of such registered persons, means nothing but recipient we need to consider. Next, coming to topic, point number 4. Admission to an event, sir, any park, event or amusement park, nothing but. So here entry ticket will be charged to any parks or theaters. Theaters means nothing but entertainment event. So for entertainment events or parks, entry ticket we need to pay. For theaters 150 rupees or 250 rupees ticket cost we are paying. Even for parks also entry ticket we take. Sir, some tourists have come to Andhra Pradesh, and in Andhra Pradesh, if they go to any park, we will charge CGST and SGST or IGST. Since they are tourists, should we charge IGST? No. Here CGST and SGST only will be charged, because for event and parks, the place where the event is actually held or where the park is located, you need to see. So from any state, if they come to Andhra Pradesh park, what the Andhra Pradesh parks will charge? They will charge the CGST and SGST only. That person might belong to any state. They will charge only CGST and SGST. Here if you see, Mr. A is a resident of Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. He buys a ticket for circus organized at Haryana. Sir, this person recipient is located in Uttar Pradesh, whereas supplier is located at where circus is being held at Haryana. Which GST they have to charge? Should they charge IGST? No. Why? Because in case of parks, the place where the park is held, you need to see. Circus is nothing but an event, entertainment event. So where the circus is organized in Haryana, any person might come to this Haryana, circus will charge, by a circus company based at New Delhi. Even though circus company is based at New Delhi, the place of supply is Gurugram, Haryana only. From any state that person come to Gurugram, Haryana, in such case, in Haryana, they have to charge CGST and SGST because the place where the event is held, the place where the park is located forms the place of supply. Next, event manager services. Sir, event manager for business events like company AGM and all. For business events, B2B, location of such registered person. In order to get input tax credit, this point has been specified. Location of such a registered person. In case of B2C transactions, the place where the event is held, we need to see. So, event manager, sir, he is going to conduct the event at New Delhi. Event manager is of Andhra Pradesh person only, but event is conducted at New Delhi. So now which GST he has to charge? IGST. The place where the event is actually held. Since the event is being held at New Delhi, New Delhi is the place of supply. Location of the supplier is Andhra Pradesh. Since they are in two different states, IGST will be levied. If the event is held outside India, sir, supplier located in India, recipient also located in India. But if event is held outside India, can I say this as export of service? No. GST will be charged. For example, sir, to one of my friend is an event manager. To that event manager, I have said that we are going to conduct an event in Australia, and he has organized such event. Even though here event is held in Australia, me, service recipient, I am a resident of India. Service provider, that event manager is also a resident of India. When both supplier and recipient are in India, even though the event is held outside India also, location of recipient will be regarded as the place of supply. That means GST will be charged in this case. Okay. Here if you see this second point as example, sir, mega events and event management company, that company is located at New Delhi. It is organizing an award function at Mauritius. Even though award function is being conducted at Mauritius, the service provider is located in New Delhi, service recipient is located in Gujarat. Both are in India only. So in such case, location of the recipient. So where the recipient is located at Ahmedabad. That Ahmedabad will be regarded as the place of supply. So this is in case of event manager services. Now coming to point number 6. This is very important, sir, practically. In case of transportation of goods, which type of GST is to be paid? Still many were confused. Here is the perfect clarification. Transportation of goods, in case of B2B transactions, location of such registered person. Sir, what do you mean by the term location of such registered person? The person who is paying freight is the service receiver. The person who is paying freight is the service receiver. That person, that means service receiver, in which state he is located, it is nothing but the place of supply. What is the location of the supplier here? Who is the supplier? The transporter. Goods transport agency is the supplier. That supplier location we need to see. Supplier location, how we can know? In goods consignment note we can see. So in supplier location can be found in consignment note. That is the location of the supplier. And place of supply is the location of the recipient. Sir, one goods transport agency, Kranti Transport, has provided transportation service from New Delhi to Andhra Pradesh. Now, what is the place of supply? In consignment note, we have to see in which state he is located. Sir, his state is Gujarat, sir. Okay. One lorry, since there is vacancy, he has transported the goods from New Delhi to AP. So now what is the location of the supplier? Now, what is the location of the supplier? Sir, location of the supplier is Delhi, whereas place of supply is the location of the registered person. The freight is being paid by the person in AP. So AP will be regarded as the place of supply. Location of supplier is New Delhi, Gujarat. So since they are of two different states, IGST is to be paid. Nowadays, practically in GSTR 3B only we are going to get system generated summary, sir. But theoretically speaking, so how to determine the place of supply? So here place of supply is to be determined based on these aspects. So what were given here? So in case of transportation of goods, B2B cases, location of such registered person we have to see. Such registered persons means recipient. In case of B2C cases, generally B2C transactions exempted, sir, through Navata and Kranti transport, or if we transport any goods through them, many transporters, SRMT. So like that, there are many transporters, logistics, VRL logistics. So if they provide B2C transactions, as per notification 12/2017, they were exempted generally. But at any time exemption might be withdrawn. If the exemption is withdrawn, then we need to levy GST. For that, how to determine the place of supply? The place where the goods are handed over for transportation. Sir, the goods were being transported from Uttar Pradesh to Telangana. Where the goods were handed over, in Uttar Pradesh they have handed over, sir. Uttar Pradesh will be regarded as the place of supply. Because here what was given in case of B2B transactions, location of the recipient. If he is registered, location of the recipient will be the place of supply. But B2C transactions, the place where the goods are handed over, will be regarded as the place of supply. Sir, if transportation is done to outside India, sir, we are in section 12. So in section, we are in section 12, yes. In section 12, the supplier and recipient both were located in India. So in such case, even though the goods were transported to outside India, so which GST is to be levied? IGST is to be levied. That means, sir, I want to transport the goods to USA, but I have given contract to AP transporter only. I was located in AP. Transporter also is located in AP. But where the goods were being transported? Goods were transported to US. So in order to get benefit to central government, what they have specified here is destination. Generally, the place where the goods are handed over, we need to see. Here, goods were handed over in AP only. But where they need to deliver them? They need to deliver it to USA. Since it was outside India, in order to levy IGST, the destination will be regarded as the place of supply. See how the government has framed up to their benefit. So the place of destination will be regarded as the place of supply. Generally, where we hand over initially for transportation will be the place of supply. But if the goods were being transported to outside India, in order to levy IGST on them, what they have specified is destination is the place of supply. Destination is outside India. So in case of interstate supplies, IGST is to be levied. Okay. So this was transportation of goods. For your understanding sake, 5 examples were given, sir. Very, very clearly I have given. If you want, you can go through them. So next, we have completed goods transportation. Now we are entering into passenger transportation services. Sir, for passenger transportation services, the location of the registered person, B2B cases, location of the registered person. Sir, if business class, that means 3-tier AC, 2-tier AC or first class AC tickets, if we are booking, it asks for GST number. Because second class and general class, no GST at all. In railways, GST will be charged only for AC bogies. Only for AC bogies only, GST will be levied in case of railway transport. Okay. So in case of passengers, we are being transported through rail. So in this case, in order to get input, if the person is traveling from Chennai to New Delhi. So in this case, in case of B2B transactions, even though ticket is booked through Southern Railways, CGST and SGST will not be charged. So here what we need to see, the location of such registered person, that means recipient. If we write our GST number, based on that, it is going to select our state. So our state will be compared with the location of the supplier, where the railway authority is located. That GST numbers, if we are in same state, they will be CGST and SGST, or else IGST will be. So here in case of B2B transactions, location of such the registered person, and B2C transactions. Sir, I want 3-tier AC or 2-tier AC, but not for my business purpose, for personal visit. Will they charge GST? Yes. But which GST? The place where the passenger embarks, that means where he is going to get into the train for continuous journey. Sir, if I am going, the train is from Chennai to New Delhi. If I am going to board the train at Vijayawada, now what will be the place of supply? Vijayawada will be regarded as the place of supply, because the place where the passenger embarks for the continuous journey. So in case of B2C transaction, in case of B2B, location of the registered person means nothing but recipient. Next, coming to the next thing. In case of future use, prepaid cards. Prepaid cards are generally what they have specified, where the passenger embarks. But in some cases, we don't know where the passenger embarks. Sir, without knowing only did he purchase ticket, you might ask. Sir, there will be some prepaid cards. Based on that card, he can go through in Noida, he can climb trains. Here if you see, I have given one example, sir. If you go through that, you can easily understand. Here if you see, Mr. C has come to Delhi on a vacation. He buys prepaid Dello metro card. To travel through the local trains, he has purchased one metro card where at any national capital region he can travel. These are called prepaid cards. One card, if they purchase for 200 rupees or 300 rupees, that entire day they can travel from any place to any place in that metro train. So here, place is not known, point of boarding is not known. Using that card, at any place I can board. So in such case, the location of the recipient will be regarded as a place of supply. If recipient location not known, then location of the supplier will be regarded as a place of supply. Just to levy GST, sir, these many points they have framed. If we don't know the point where we are going to board into the conveyance, then in such case, what they have specified is the location of the recipient. Even though recipient is not providing any Aadhaar card and all, the recipient location is not known, then location of the supplier will be regarded as the place of supply. So coming to the next thing, services on board a conveyance. Sir, earlier at the time of discussing goods, I have given you an example. When the goods were being sold from during travel, like books, earphones, MRP based biscuits, if they were sold on train, what I have specified, where the goods were loaded into the conveyance forms the place of supply. But here, now if you see, what I am discussing here is services on board a conveyance. Services on board a conveyance, supply of a food, meals we are going to eat. It is a service. Tea, coffee, during travel, the IRCTC also is going to sell tea, coffees, or tomato soups they are selling. So what is the place of supply in such case? The location of the first scheduled point of departure, where the conveyance has been started. From Chennai to New Delhi it is going, sir. That tea might be sold at any place. Chennai will be regarded as the place of supply. Sir, the tea is loaded in Vijayawada, sir. Even though the tea is loaded in Vijayawada, Chennai will be regarded as the place of supply. Why? Because the first scheduled point of departure. first scheduled point of departure we need to consider. Okay. So now coming to the next thing, banks and financial services. Sir, for banks, what is the place of supply? Location of the recipient. Any bank, sir, recipient, they are going to collect KYC, PAN, Aadhaar, they are going to compulsorily collect. That location of the recipient will be regarded as the place of supply. Sir, in case of some transactions, recipient location is not required. Like if we want DD, we can give cash and take DD. So their recipient location is not known. Then in such case, supplier location will be considered. That means bank location only will become the place of supply. So for banks and other financial services, if recipient location is available, recipient location is the place of supply. If recipient location is not available, supplier location will be regarded as the place of supply. So total 13 services I said we are going to learn, in which we have completed 9 services. Now coming to service number 10. Insurance services. Sir, insurance services, stock insurance and all, in online also we are purchasing, we are availing insurance services nowadays. In order to avoid commissions also, there are some apps like ACKO. During IPL season, many promotions they have done. ACKO, Echo app. There we can take vehicle insurance and all, even stock insurance also, without any commission payment. Just we need to pay premium only. So in this case, what will be the place of supply? Sir, insurance services for B2B, in order to get input, they said that location of such registered person, that means recipient location only. Even in B2C cases also same thing, location of the recipient will be regarded as the place of supply. So it may be B2B case or B2C case, both the cases, location of the recipient will be regarded as the place of supply. So this is in case of insurance services. Next, coming to topic number 11, advertisement services to government. So specifically you are telling the advertisement services provided to government only. What happens if advertisement services were provided to non-government? You might get a doubt. So for which the clarification that I am going to give to you here is, sir, these 12 points were specific. There is another point, point number 13. Sir, for auditing services, so we are doing auditing services. For auditing services, the place of supply is not specified at all, specifically. Then what we need to do? We have to come for this default rule. Sir, what is this one? We have to come to this default rule. Default rule was given in this point number 13, where they have specified that in case of B2B transactions, the location of the such registered person, that means the recipient location will be regarded as the place of supply. Even for B2C transactions also, location of recipient only, but if recipient location is not known, then supplier location. Okay, now let me give you one perfect example. Sir, one of my client is located at Hyderabad. One of my client is located at Hyderabad. So in Vijayawada, I am having my office at Vijayawada. Through online, I have provided auditing service, or that person has brought his tally data and accounting books and all to Vijayawada, and he has done audit by me. So I have done audit at Vijayawada only. But where that client is located in Hyderabad. Now I am going to give a bill. I am going to raise GST bill. So I have to raise IGST bill or CGST plus SGST? IGST only. Because in case of B2B transaction, location of such a registered person, where he is located Hyderabad. So I have to charge IGST. So any of my client, if they are located in out of the state, which GST I have to charge? IGST. Even though they come to my office, even though I provide service at my office, what they have specified is for any other service, default rule has to be applied. So in default rule, what they have specified? In B2B transactions, location of such registered person. Mr. A, chartered accountant registered in New Delhi, is making a supply of service to his client, Mr. B, who was located in Uttar Pradesh. So since the client is located in Uttar Pradesh, Noida, so that Noida becomes the place of supply. So I think this point is very clear. So first 12 points were specific, sir. So that's why here if you see, advertisement services provided to government is only given. What happens if advertisement services were provided to non-government? Non-government will come under point number 13, default rule, residual rule. Whereas topic number 11 specifically has given that advertisement services if we provide to government, that government, to which government we are providing. Here if you see the example, Gujarat government gives an advertisement contract to an advertising agency to promote Gujarat tourism throughout the country. That Gujarat tourism promotions are throughout the country. In AP, in Tamil Nadu also they are doing promotion. Now what is the place of supply? Each state, even though service is provided to Gujarat government, so in various states they ask to provide services. So each state will be regarded as place of supply. Generally, if it is provided to non-government, B2B cases, any state they provide, location of the recipient will be regarded as place of supply. But here, advertisement services, if we provide to government, advertisement services provided to whom? Government. What will be the place of supply, sir? All the states. Each state we need to see. In which state they provide service, that state we need to see. So total contract for 1 crore they have given, sir. Then we have to divide the proportionate value. We have to divide the proportionate value based upon the contractual terms. We need to divide the value. Next, telecommunication services. Sir, mobile recharge. What is the place of supply? Address. Our location will become the place of supply. Sir, for landlines, what is the place of supply? Where such landline is located, BSNL landline is located, that forms the place of supply. For mobile or postpaid services, that means entire month we are going to use, and then postpaid, we are going to get a post bill, we are going to get through a post. So in such case, what will be the place of supply? So in such case, location of the recipient will be regarded as the place of supply. So here there is a doubt. If advertisement service is provided in electric media, then what is the place of supply? Very good question. Sir, specifically, if it is provided to electric media, what is the place of supply is not given. Then where we need to go? We need to see the default rule. In default rule, what was given? B2B cases, location of such a registered recipient. B2C cases, generally recipient location. If recipient location is not known, then supplier location. So generally for advertisement, they take B2B cases only. So location of that registered person we need to see, sir. So I think that doubt is very clear. Next. Sale of prepaid vouchers. What do you mean by the term prepaid vouchers? That means coupons or recharge coupon earlier used to be. Nowadays we are recharging through PhonePe and Google Pay. But earlier there used to be some recharge coupons. For such recharge coupons, what is the place of supply? Here if you see, the place of sale of such vouchers, wherever that vouchers were being sold, in which shop it was sold, we need to see. That shop becomes the place of supply. In all other cases like PhonePe, Google Pay, online recharge we are doing, then our premises will be regarded as a place of supply. Sir, this place of supply should be compared with location of supplier. Based on that only they are going to charge the GST. So by this we have completed another section, sir. Total 4 sections were being given in place of supply chapter, section 10, 11, 12 and 13. In which we have completed section 10, 11 and 12 also we have completed right now. Now I am entering into section 13. Sir, when section 13 will be applicable? Either service provider or service receiver is located outside India. Earlier in section 12, what we have discussed, both service provider and also service receiver, both are in India. That concept we have discussed. But now, either service provider or service receiver, any one person is located outside India or both are located outside India, whatever may be the case. So in such case, what is the place of supply we need to see, sir? Coming to the first one, because sir, supplier is in India, recipient outside India means we have to say export of service. No. Even though the recipient is outside India, in some cases, sir, India will be treated as place of supply. That's why we need to learn. In order to determine a supply as an export of service, place of supply must be outside India. then only we have to say it as export of service. That's why we should know what will be the place of supply in case of these services. Number one, if you see, where the goods are required to be made physically available. Where the goods are required to be made physically available, like bike repair or any car repair. Unless the goods were physically available, they can't repair. No? Or teaching service, unless the student is physically available. Nowadays we have online, it's a different thing. Remote location, that we will discuss next aspect, remote location. But here if you see, wherever physical availability of goods is required, persons we will discuss in second point. Wherever the physical availability of goods, dry cleaning you take example, for dry cleaning whether physical availability of goods required, yes, unless the cloths are available, they can't provide the service. No? So in such cases, what they have specified here is the place where the service is actually performed. If you perform the service in India, India will be regarded as the place of supply. If you perform the service outside India will be regarded as the place of supply. Sir, through online we have provided, sir. Yeah. So in such case, location where the goods are located. Location where the goods are located. In case of goods transactions, so if computer repair, they have connected to any desk and they have done repairs, sir. So now where the computer is located, you need to see, it will be regarded as the place of supply. So by this, what we have completed till now, first point we have completed. Now coming to second point, services which require physical presence of the recipient. Earlier, physical presence of the goods like dry cleaning, repairs and maintenance, that we have discussed. Whereas now next point, what we are discussing is physical presence of the recipient. Before discussion, here a doubt has been raised that in the first example, does the foreign engineer need to take registration in India? Yeah, very, very good question. Sir, this one also, non-resident taxable person, if they have place of business in India, they should get temporary registration. As a non-resident taxable person registration. Okay, next. Coming to the next thing, service supplied physical availability of a person if it was required. Wherever physical availability of person is required. First point, what we have discussed, physical availability of goods. Whereas in the second point, what we are discussing, physical availability of a person. Physical availability of a person. So in such case, like teaching and all, so what they have specified, like a hairstylist. In online, can he do haircut? No. So here physical presence of the person is required. So in such case, where they are actually performed, same in case of goods and also service, these will be called as performance-based services. These will be called generally as performance-based services. For performance-based services, where the service is actually performed becomes the place of supply. Next. So coming to the next thing, services in relation to immobile property. Very simple. As we have learned earlier, the place where the immobile property is located. Sir, already the same things we have learned in section 12 now. Again, why we are repeating in section 13? Because why we are repeating in section 13? Because section 12, service provider and service receiver, both are located in India. But here, any one person is located outside India. That's why specifically here again we need to learn. Next, number 4, admission to or organization of an event. Admission to or organization of an event. What is this one, sir? Admission to or organization of an event means the place where the event is actually held. Sir, event manager. For an event manager, I have appointed. What will be the place of supply? Where he is conducting such event. If event is conducted in India, India will be the place of supply. If event is conducted outside India will be regarded as the place of supply. So event manager services, Earlier in section 12, we have learned B2B, B2C, but here it was not like that. Okay, event manager services, the place where the event is actually held. Next, banks, intermediary like commission agents. Next, hiring means of transport. Hiring means of transport like bus, lorry, etc. So in such case, what they have specified here is the location of the supplier. Sir, for commission agents, what will be the place of supply? Supplier's location is the place of supply. Because here intermediary services, if you see, or banks, sir, earlier you said B2B, B2C, no, that is in section 12, but in section 13, either service provider or service receiver, any one person is located at outside India. Either service provider or service receiver, any one person is located outside India. So in such cases, what will be the place of supply? Location of the supplier will be regarded as the place of supply. But here if you see, hiring of means of transport, including hatch, but excluding aircraft and vessel, they have said. That means if aircraft and vessel has been let out, then what is the place of supply? That is the first question. And second question is, up to 1 month only they have specified. More than 1 month if goods, means of transport were given for hire, then what would be the place of supply? That was not given there. So for those aspects, if specifically it was not given, what I have said to you, we have to come for residual rule. Here is the residual rule. What they have specified is, for the rest of the services, location of the recipient will be regarded as the place of supply. If recipient location is not known, then supplier location we have to see. Supplier location, if the recipient location is not available. So if any specific service is not given, then we have to come for default. Next, passenger transportation, very easy. The place where the passenger embarks. Sir, here B2B, B2C is not given because either service provider or service receiver might be located outside India. That's why, keeping into view, what they have specified here is passenger transportation services, the place where the passenger embarks for a continuous journey we need to see. Next, services provided on board a conveyance, like any tea, coffee is being supplied, any snacks were being sold, not MRP based. MRP based means it will be called as a good. Whereas non-MRP based food, if it is being served, it becomes a service. The first scheduled point of departure we need to see. What we need to see, sir? First scheduled point of departure. Okay. Next, before entering into service number 9, it takes some time. OADAR services, to discuss it takes some time, because before that, let me have a clarification on one of the doubt which was being raised. Sir, if the supplier is in India and the customer is located outside India, okay, supplier is in India and customer is outside India, and the orders are obtained by an agent located outside India. Sir, agent is outside India, supplier is in India, customer is also outside India, for which the supplier in India is paying commission. Is it import of service? Yeah. Sir, here the question was regarding intermediary services. Sir, in case of intermediary services, what is the place of supply? Just now I have said to you, supplier's location will be regarded as place of supply. Here supplier, commission agent is located outside India. That is the place of supply. What is the location of the supplier? Outside India. What is the place of supply? Outside India, because location of supplier itself is the place of supply. Since the location of the supplier and place of supply both were outside India, since both were outside India, in this case, since the place of supply is outside India, then what is the conclusion, sir? Does it come for import of service is the question here. Sir, here when we are going to pay the commission, this becomes import of service, because here recipient is in India, service receiver. Service receiver, here if you see service receiver is in India, you have asked to me. Since the service receiver is in India, service provider outside India, Place of supply must be in India to pay it as an import of service. But here place of supply is also outside India. You need not pay any GST. Sir, is it clear? Here the question is, they have asked me whether it is import of service. No, because if you see the definition of the term import of service, supplier must be outside India, recipient must be in India, place of supply also must be in India. Here place of supply is outside India. Since the agent is located outside India, his supplier location will be regarded as place of supply. Since place of supply is outside India, we should not tell this as import of service. Sir, in this example, sir, C.A. Ramakrishnan, sir, you need not pay any GST in this case. Okay. Next. Are we supposed to pay GST on RCM? No need, sir. Here, this is not an import of service. We need not pay any GST. Consultancy services provided from India to foreign company, whether GST is applicable. Sir, simply you have said consultancy service. Okay. So, since specific service you are not telling, here we have to go through residual rule. What was given residual rule? Location of the recipient is the place of supply. Supplier is located in India. Recipient is located outside India. And simply, since you didn't give any specific service, this consultation service, we can say it as export of service. But in order to say this as an export of service, what we need to have in this case? You have to submit LUT. You have to submit LUT. If you don't submit LUT, you have to pay. Okay. Next. Auditing services. Yeah, that I have already covered. Under residual rule only, we have to see auditing services. Okay. So all the doubts were being clear. Now let me go to further aspects. OIDAR services. Sir, OIDAR stands for Online Information Database Access and Retrieval Services. Name itself discussion takes a long time. So OIDAR stands for Online Information Database Access and Retrieval Services. So what does it mean and how to determine the place of supply in those aspects? Let us have a discussion. So what do you mean by the term OIDAR first of all? What do you mean by the term OIDAR? That aspect we have to discuss first. Sir, online advertising comes under OIDAR. Telugu matrimony, online they are providing services. It will be covered under OIDAR. Online classes will also be covered under OIDAR. That means we are going to make the payment and access some information online. Sir, here to this meeting, you have paid 150 rupees or 200. For ARS members, it's a different thing. You have paid in lump sum, whatever maybe, it's also payment service. Remaining all 150, 200, you have paid and entered to this meeting, to this online meeting. So, in order to get online information, you are going to make payment some fees. For Telugu matrimony also, we pay the fees and know the information of bride and groom. So here, wherever we make some payment and retrieve the online information, in such cases, they will be called as OIDAR services. OIDAR services, sir, B2B transaction, reverse charge mechanism will be applicable. Sir, online advertising, if I have taken from a foreigner, in some foreign website, I am listing my advertisement and I am paying consideration from India. So what happens in this case? Reverse charge mechanism will be applicable on online advertising B2B cases. Sir, OIDAR services means if they are located outside India, then only I am telling. If both service provider and service receiver located in India, then you have to go to section 12. But now we are in section 13. What section 13 has specified? OIDAR, if he is located outside India, then B2B cases will be covered under reverse charge mechanism. B2C cases, OIDAR will appoint an agent in India to pay tax. B2C cases, OIDAR, even though they are located outside India, they will appoint an agent in India to pay taxes. B2B cases will be covered under reverse charge mechanism. So by this, we have completed section 13 also. So this material will be shared in the shared through mail shortly after completion of meeting. I will share to the Vijayawada branch so that anyone can access this one. So here what we need to take into consideration here is place of supply. 4 sections we have dealt here, sir. Total 30 cases I have said to you. All the 30 cases we have completed. So what I have specified to you, section 10, 5 cases in case of goods, where both seller and buyer is in India. Second, in case of goods, in case of imports and exports. Next, section 12, where both provider and receiver both are located in India. Fourth case, either supplier or recipient is located outside India. So in all these cases, what is the place of supply? We have learned. Okay. So here there is a question, sir, in OADAR services, some services are exempted. What are they, sir? Sir, OADAR services, sir, there is a definition. 7 points were covered in OADAR. Section 14 of IGST Act. Which section, sir? Section 14 of IGST Act. Online information database access and retrieval services. 7 points were specified. Like online advertising, like Amazon Prime, we are subscribing Hotstar. We are going to make the payment and retrieve the information. Or cloud services. So, or cloud services. So, all these aspects, like 7 points were specified. Online gaming, Rummy Circle and all. So, these 7 points were being specified in OADAR section 14. Those aspects, B2B cases, reverse charge mechanism. B2C cases, OADAR will pay taxes. For these 7 aspects, no exemption at all. For these 7 aspects, no exemption at all, sir, specifically. B2B cases, reverse charge will be applicable. B2C cases, OADAR will pay the taxes. There is no exemption. Next, throw some light on ocean freight, sir. Yeah, ocean freight, sir, regarding this one. Whenever you are importing the goods through vessel or aircraft, on the freight which you are paying, you have to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism. It becomes as an import of service. On this freight, we have to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism. Actually, till 30th September 2021, air freight has been exempted from GST. Because air freight you are going to include in customs valuation and you are paying customs duty. Again, payment of GST becomes double taxation. That's why till 30th September 2021, vessel and air transportation has been exempted. But now such exemption is not there. We have to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism. Next, sir, for online services to education institutions. Sir, if that online service is covered in 7 points, OADAR, we are going to make a payment and retrieve information from education institutions, will also be liable. Sir, if that education institution is providing educational services, like 10th class education, intermediate education, these educations online or offline, both are exempted only. Entry number 66 you need to see. Exemption notification 12/2017. For education institute, there are specific exemption. Those services, even though provided online also, online examination also exempted. All other services will be liable to tax. Sir, if freight paid by foreign supplier to foreign service provider. So foreign supplier is paying freight to foreign service provider. Then in India, GST will not get attracted. In India, here GST does not attract because this is a transaction outside India. But these freights we are going to include in customs valuation. In customs valuation, along with the goods value, freight we are going to add. If freight is not known, minimum 20% we are going to add to the value of the supply. Those aspects will come into existence. So that's it. By this, place of supply topic we have completed, sir. Now let me enter into the topic called time of supply. Time of supply is short when compared to place of supply. First of all, what is the importance of this chapter? Let me explain to you. Yeah. Sir, to one of my client, I have done tax audit in January month, sir. Because January 15th is the initial due date, later extended to February 15th. ID filing is extended to March 15th. That's a separate thing. I have completed tax audit in January, but I didn't raise bill. I have raised bill in February. The client has given me check in March, but I didn't deposit in bank. I will deposit in April. After completing financial year, I will deposit. Why, sir? That is my wish. To get the example in a perfect manner, I have given you 4 months here. Audit is conducted in January. Bill is raised in February. Check is being received in March. I have deposited the check in my bank account in April. I have 3 months time now for depositing check. I have deposited in April. In April ending, I have deposited and it is credited in my bank account in May. In June, I have withdrawn and enjoyed the audit fee. Now tell me, in which month I have to pay GST? From the client, I have received 50,000 fees. Let us assume, sir. I have conducted audit in from January to June. There are some chronological events. Bill was raised in 1 month. Receipt is in another month. Deposit is in another month. Bank credit is in another month. Withdrawal is in another month. So in which month I have to pay GST? This is the doubt which is being arised, which will be clarified in this chapter called time of supply. So the time of supply is very important to pay the GST. What they have specified here is, sir, one basic clarification I need. For audit which was done in January, can I raise bill in February? Service is completed in January. Can I raise bill in February? That is my doubt. Tell me, sir. Can I raise bill in February? Yeah, here let me see. Since it's an online meeting, everyone can't reply. So that's why. Sir, here time limit for raising invoices is given in section 31, where it has specified that for service transactions, sir, this is goods and this is service. For service transactions, within 30 days from the date of supply of service, you have to raise the bill. Within how many days, sir? Within 30 days, I need to raise the bill. Sir, who knows on which date I have completed service? It's a separate thing, sir. But we know at which date we have completed the service. Whenever the audit report has been submitted, whenever IT written audit report submitted, it is nothing but completion of audit only. Even though you are making the set ready later, slowly we are going to prepare schedules and then we are going to give set to the client belatedly. Whenever we are going to sign the audit report and submit to the income tax department, audit is completed. So from there onwards, within 30 days, we need to raise the bill. So what happens if I raise bill on 31st day? Interest will be levied. That I will discuss in next point. Here if you see, there is some time limit for raising invoice. Sir, I am not telling in which month you have to pay GST. First of all, when invoice is required to be raised, let us learn that one first. After that, we can automatically understand remaining aspects. Sir, in case of goods, sir, now I am giving delivery. After 1 month, can I raise invoice? Today I am giving delivery of goods, sir. After 20 days, can I raise invoice? No, because in case of goods, what they have specified? Before or at the time of removal. Before or at the time of removal of the goods itself, you have to raise the bill. Unless the bill has been raised, you can't remove the goods from your premises. Sir, it was sent on a sale or approval basis, sir. Then at least you have to raise delivery challan. No? Here I am not saying that you have to raise tax invoice only. Here invoice I have said. Invoice might be tax invoice, bill of supply, delivery challan, job work based delivery challans. Anything it might be. Invoice has to be raised. There are many types of invoice, debit notes, credit notes. There are many types of invoice. So what is applicable to your case, you see, that invoice issue. I am not telling the tax invoice only should be raised. I didn't say no. If on sale on approval basis, you have to give at least delivery challan. And for sale on approval basis, since the topic has come, let me explain, sir. Last point, if you see, maximum 6 months time period will be given. Initially, you raise delivery challan and send to your customer. So in customer premises, maximum how much time period will they retain? 6 months. Before 6 months, you have to raise the bill. If you don't raise before 6 months, it will be deemed supply. It will be regarded as the deemed supply. Immediately after the expiry of the 6th month, it will be regarded as a deemed sale. Okay, next. Let me continue. So general point we have discussed. Next, continuous supply. Sir, what do you mean by the term continuous supply? It has been given in section 2 definition, sir. Continuously 3 months if we provide service, it will be called as continuous supply of service. Sir, construction from 2 years, the contractor is providing service, sir. Can I say it as continuous supply of service? Yes. So in this case, what they have specified here is, in case of continuous supply of services, what will be the place of supply? Because what I have said to you, after completing the service within 30 days, we have to raise invoice. But here construction takes 2 years, sir. After 2 years, should I raise invoice? No. Gradually you can raise. Gradually you can raise. How? If the payments were ascertainable like that, that means after foundation 5% value I am going to raise bill. After foundation for 5% I will raise bill. After completing first floor, 15% bill will be raised. After completing second floor, 15 more %. Like that, if it is ascertainable, before completing that date, you have to raise invoice. Before completing foundation only, you have to raise 5% of the bill you need to raise. Before completing first floor, 15% you need to raise. If the events were ascertainable, before that date, you need to raise the invoice. If the events are not ascertainable, before or at the time where we receive the payment, sir, we didn't tell any terms. Gradually, I am asking, he is giving. Now I am asking 5 lakhs, the customer is giving. Next, I have asked 2 lakhs, he is giving. In such case, for every payment, now if I receive 5 lakhs, for 5 lakhs, I have to raise invoice and pay GST. If I receive 2 lakhs, for 2 lakhs, I have to raise invoice and pay GST. If it is not ascertainable, for every payment, if it is related to an event, like I have said, no, sir, after foundation, you have to give, after first floor, you have to give, like that. In such case, for every event, you need to raise the invoice separate. Okay. So in case of services, in case of continuous supply of services, what do you mean by the term continuous supply of services? More than 3 months if we provide, it will be called as continuous supply. Sir, whether auditing service can be called as continuous supply? No. Concurrent audit we can say, bank audit or internal audit continuously we provide, that we can say continuous supply. Sir, accounting services, can I say continuous supply? Yes, for entire year we provide an accounting service. It's also continuous supply. Monthly we are going to bill now. We are going to enter into terms. What I have said them is, every month we will provide service, but after the end of the year, you pay me money. Then after end of the year only bill is required to be raised. Or monthly we are saying give us 10,000 per month. Then monthly 10,000 you need to raise the bill. If it is ascertainable, before that payment you need to raise the bill. If it is not ascertainable, before completion of event you need to raise it. Okay, next. Sir, if you do not raise invoice within 30 days, then date of provision of service. What is the date of provision of service? Yes. Date of provision of service will be regarded as time of supply. Interest will be levied, sir. That aspect I will discuss next. If you don't raise within 30 days, here I have said within 30 days you have to raise. No. What happens if I don't raise within 30 days means time of supply changes. The date of completion of service itself becomes the time of supply. You will be liable to pay interest, which I will discuss later. Sir, in case of goods, for each successive statement or successive payment. Sir, now I am delivering 100 goods. Continuous supply of goods means that person ledger we have opened, sir. Continuously, we both have transactions. Then what we need to do? Then for each transaction, sir, now I am sending 100 goods. Tomorrow I will send 150. Day after tomorrow I will send 400 goods. Can I give for entire month one single invoice? No. For each transaction, you have to give separately. That is what they have specified. They might think that for continuous supply, gradually we can raise invoice. No. For each event, for each transaction, you need to raise invoice. Next, sale on accrual basis, we have already discussed. So now, what we have completed till now? Time limit for raising invoice, I have said to you. Time limit for invoice, I have said to you. Okay. So terms of contract is important for continuous supply of service, even for audit services. Yes, more than 3 months, if the service is continuously provided, then in such case, terms of contract were important, even for auditing service also. Because based on that only here time of supply has been decided. Here if you see, what is the time of supply in case of goods? Date of invoice or the last date by which invoice is required to be raised. Sir, goods were being sold, sir, invoice is raised, but I didn't receive any payment. Even though you didn't receive any payment, GST is required to be paid. GST is required to be paid. Okay, even though you didn't receive any payment, date of invoice, date of invoice. So just a minute, sir. Yeah. So now coming to the next thing. So in case of supply of goods, sir, date of invoice is the place of supply. Sorry, the time of supply. Sir, if I didn't raise invoice, then what happens, sir? The last date by which invoice is required to be issued. Last date the invoice is required to be issued. That means in case of goods, sir, generally at the time of movement of goods, before movement only we need to raise invoice. If I didn't raise, that date only becomes time of supply. You need to pay interest. 6 months later, I have raised invoice, sir. For the 6 months, should I pay interest? Yes. Okay. Next thing, supply of service. Next aspect is supply of service. Sir, if invoice is issued within the time limit under section 31, if invoice is issued within time limit under section 31, then date of invoice or date of receipt of payment, whichever is early. What is the time limit? Within 30 days, we have to raise invoice. That is the time limit. Within that time limit, if you issue the invoice, then date of invoice or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. If you don't issue, then date of completion, you are raising invoice 5 months later, then date of completion will be regarded as the time of supply. For this 5 months, you will be liable to pay interest. So date of completion or date of receipt of payment. Sir, initially if I receive any advance, for that advance should I pay GST? Yes, because date of invoice or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Sir, where we can find these dates? These dates can be found in our books of accounts only. Sir, if books of accounts were not available, very happy no, sir. No. If the above events are not ascertainable, date of entry, if in supplier books it is not available, we'll go to recipient books. If in supplier books this is not available, where we will go, sir? We will go to the recipient books to determine the place of supply. Okay. Next. Sir, what do you mean by the term receipt of payment? If it is a check, date of credit in bank account or date of entry in the books of accounts, whichever is earlier, we need to see. Even though created in bank account belatedly, date of entry in the books of accounts or date of credit in the bank account, whichever is earlier, we need to see. Next. Time of supply, where tax is payable under reverse charge mechanism. Where the tax is payable under reverse charge mechanism. So in such case, what is the time of supply they are asking? So reverse charge mechanism, who need to pay taxes? Recipient is required to pay taxes, and the recipient is required to pay the taxes and claim input tax credits. First is required to pay the taxes. Through cash ledger only we need to pay. When we need to pay, here it was given. In case of goods, if goods were covered in reverse charge mechanism, date of receipt of the goods or date on which we are making payment or maximum within 31 days from the date of invoice, whichever is earlier. Sir, even though we are not making payment, if the goods are received in this month only we are required to pay GST. So in case of supply of goods, what they have given here, sir, in case of supply of goods, date of receipt of the goods forms the time of supply. Or date of payment, when we make payment earlier, that payment date forms the place of supply. Or maximum 31 days from the date of invoice. Among these 3 dates, whichever is earlier is the place of supply. So time of supply. Next, in case of services, very simple, because here we are saying receipt of goods, but services we don't receive goods, no. That's why date of payment whenever we make payment to the supplier, that date or maximum 60 days, 61st day. Whichever is earlier, we have to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism. So reverse charge mechanisms are in case of goods and services, section 9(3) is still in existence. So if it was covered in reverse charge mechanism, so when we need to pay the taxes, in case of goods, maximum within 31 days from invoice. In case of services, maximum within 61st date from the date of invoice. Whichever is earlier is being specified. If we are going to make delay, interest will be liable. Next. Sir, whether on coupons or vouchers, whether on coupons or vouchers, should we pay GST? So nowadays in market, some discount coupons were being given. We have to go to the showroom after purchase. That coupon code, if we type, then we will get discount. Whether the coupons might be online coupons or offline coupons, whatever may be, physical coupons. Whether coupons will be regarded as goods, yes. Coupons for goods, coupons will be liable to GST. But when, sir? At the time of issuing coupons or at the time of redemption? At the time of issuing coupons or at the time of redemption? When it will be levied? Here if you see, supply of goods or services if it is identifiable. What was given here, sir? If it is identifiable, that means they are giving one coupon, sir. Against a specific item only we need to use. For example, against these clothes only you need to use this coupon. Sir, we have purchased one metro card, sir. They have given 200 rupees coupons, 12 coupons they have given. Against any item we can use this coupon. We don't know. We can use it against sugar purchase, tea powder purchase, coffee powder purchase, biscuits purchase. Any purchase we can use this 200 rupees coupon they are telling. So in such case, at the time of redemption, they will pay the duty. That means even on this coupon also, they have to bear the duty. Who have to bear the duty? The seller, the person who is issuing the coupons, have to bear the duty. And in case of where it is identifiable, initially they have said you have to use this coupon against sugar purchase. You have to use this coupon against clothes purchase. On clothes 5% GST. So on this coupon, at the time of issuing only, the GST is required to be paid. At the time of issuing only, GST is required to be paid. Vouchers, if it was given, only if vouchers were given, that voucher contains any discount code. Common discount, promotional discounts were different. For example, in Swiggy, if we see, I think the code is Swiggy 125 or something. That one, if we type for any person, we are going to get discount. That is common discount. It does not contain any specific serial number. Whereas if any vouchers or coupons were given bearing a separate serial number, so in such case, how much discount I have specified to you. Okay. Next, even Sodexo coupons also, if you see, if it contains a separate serial, commonly for all the persons, if they provide in invoice itself, if they reduce such discount, then there is no issue. But if it contains a separate serial, then only if it is identifiable at the time of issuing, they will pay GST. If it is not identifiable at the time of redemption, they will pay GST. Next, residual cases. Sir, one person turnover is 10 crores, but he didn't pay any GST. They have come for inspection to his premises and they have found that from the past 4 years, he didn't pay GST at all. Now, should he pay GST? Yes. But what is the time of supply? Here it was given, sir. Where the periodical return is required to be submitted, the due date of filing return of income. Month-wise, how much they will quantify, and the due date of filing return will be regarded as the time of supply. Sir, here we don't have transaction at all. We know that his total turnover is 10 crores, but month-wise we cannot categorize, sir. Any other cases, date of payment will be regarded as the time of supply. Just to determine the time of supply, from that date to levy interest, this concept has come into existence. Next, time of supply for interest. Time of supply for interest. Once again, sir, regarding this discount, they are asking discount coupon which was given in common, then no GST will be levied, sir. As a voucher, That's what I am telling. Contains a separate serial number. 20 vouchers to give discounts. They have given 20 vouchers. We bears a separate serial number for each voucher. Then in such case, on those vouchers, GST will be levied. General discounts given to all the persons, GST will not be levied. Okay. Next. Whether interest will be liable to GST. Sir, generally on finance interest, banks will they charge GST on interest? No. The interest will not be liable to GST. But here, if you see, time of supply in case of interest they have given. Why? Sir, goods or services for delayed payment if we charge interest. Sir, initially for 1 lakh I have raised invoice and 18% GST I have charged. But that person has made payment after 5 months. Now I am additionally charging 5,000 rupees interest. Whether that 5,000 attracts GST? Yes. Additional interest. If you see, addition in value by way of interest. This is not loan interest, sir. Goods or service transactions for delayed payment of consideration. If you see the terminology here. For delayed payment of consideration, if you receive. So this will be liable to GST. What is the time of supply? We don't know till which date he makes the payment. So that's why whenever we receive on receipt basis, we don't know in which month he will make the payment. That's why whenever we receive interest, in that month you pay GST. Coming to the next one. Very, very interesting. Practically very, very important because nowadays changes in rates of tax were being continuously done. So for changes in rate of tax, which tax rate we need to pay? Still many were confused. Simple logic I will tell you, sir. Very, very easily we can understand. Here if you see, date of supply before change of tax rate. Invoice is issued before change in tax rate, but payment is received after change in tax rate. From 1st January this year, many changes have come into existence in tax rates. Invoice is raised in December, sir, but payment we have received in January. Should we pay old tax rate or new tax rate? Very simple, sir. Give weights, that's it. Here 3 dates were given. Date of supply, date of invoice, date of receipt of payment. Easy to remember. 2 before, sir, before rate. 2 after, sir, after rate. Act is not framed based on this. For easy remembrance, I have given you some clarification. Very easy to determine rate of tax, sir. First, you see these 3 dates. What is the date of supply? What is the date of invoice? What is the date of receipt of payment? These 3 dates you put in paper. Based on that, if there are 2 before dates, sir, what do you mean by the term before and after here? Before means before change in tax rate. After means after change in tax rate. If there are 2 befores, then old rate is required to be paid. Here if you see there are 2 befores, so old rate is being paid. Here there are 2 afters, that means invoice is issued later, payment is also later. So after rate we are paying here. Here there are 2 afters because supply is after, invoice is also after. So after rate we are paying. So here there are 2 afters. So after rate we are paying. Here there are 2 befores. Date of invoice and date of receipt of payment is before. So before rate we are paying. So based upon weights, we can easily determine the rate of tax. This tax, when we need to pay, that is time of supply. Sir, here what we have decided, rate of tax only, old rate we have to pay or new rate we have to pay. That only I have decided here. This tax, when we are required to pay this tax, this month or next month, that was given here, time of supply. Generally, date of invoice or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Here if you see, date of invoice, since it was before. Payment or receipt, whichever is earlier or no, generally. Here this is before, that's why date of invoice. Here this is before, that's why date of receipt of payment. Here both are after, that's why whichever is earlier. Next, since here we are paying after tax rate, that means new tax rate, that new date will be given as the time of supply. Here if you see, since date of invoice is after, since we are paying after tax rate, so date of invoice is the time of supply. Here, since after is receipt of payment, date of receipt of payment is the time of supply. Since here both are before, whichever is earlier will be regarded as the time of supply. Sir, very simple, sir. We need not confused. Here we are deciding the rate of tax. This tax, when we are required to pay, the time of supply is given. Okay, that is what regarding time of supply. 6 topics were being given here regarding time of supply. Those 6 aspects we had a discussion. So here there are some clarifications. 2 to 3 points were additionally been asked here. Let me see. Sir, for advance receipt of payment for supply of goods, there is no GST. Then how to determine the time of supply? Yeah. Okay. In case of goods, there is no GST, sir. In case of goods, what is the time of supply? Even the advance is received also. For goods, what is the time of supply? Date of invoice only. Date of invoice only. In invoice, you are going to write the value and GST. The tax only you need to pay. Even though for goods advance is received, we need not separate value and taxes, because for goods, what is the time of supply, sir? For goods, date of invoice. Okay. So all the doubts which was been raised here in this chat box, gradually I have already solved. Even I am in the middle of the discussion itself, topic wise I have solved. Any other doubts, you can put it in the chat box, sir. I will clarify. One more doubt is being raised here. In government contracts, especially AP state government, when to raise invoice, sir, there is huge delay in payment. Okay, sir, you are specifying practically, but theoretically speaking, immediately after completing service, we need to raise invoice. But even though we raise invoice, they are giving belated payments after 1 year, 1.5 years, they are making huge delay. That's why the term huge has been used here. Okay, sir, whatever may be, we can't do anything. We have to advise the client to pay GST earlier. Later, you can save your interest, or else if you make delay now, later you will be liable to pay interest. Since they are making huge delay, central government can't give any extension. That's why based on theory, we need to go. Or else practically speaking, it might be difficult for clients, but we have to take a concern. Right, sir. Any other doubts, you can post it in the chat box. I'll give you clarification. Sorry, another big doubt you have asked. With 26 years, there is a clash. Even for my clients also the same thing, sir. Even for my clients also. What they will do is by year ending, they will deduct TDS and pay. But that amount they will reimburse in next year. So huge difference there is being made between GST turnover and IT turnover. So unless it has been matched with 26 years, in this year, if I make payment, next year they are deducting TDS. Next year I can't show again it as turnover. So this is practical difficulty, sir. But what we are doing is based on our books of accounts only, it is correct to go. Even though there is a mismatch with the 26 years, even though there is mismatch with the GST returns, GST reconciliation is there in 9C. But in a IT return, they didn't give reconciliation. So we have to go based on our books of accounts only. If any item is added at the time of intimation, in intimation, there might be some circumstance, the difference might be added to the income. Then we have to go for rectification. Then we have to go for 154 rectification. If it was transferred through to the jurisdiction officer, we can go and talk to them. If it is not transferred, it was given faceless, we have to communicate through the letter or video reference, whatever may be. But there is no specific reconciliation. For GST, there is there 9C. But in income tax, there is no reconciliation. We have to file based on our books of accounts. If there is a clash, we have to go through rectification process. That's it. So all the doubts which were being raised have been solved. So once again, I thank Vijayawada branch for giving me this opportunity. But the session is not yet complete. Tomorrow we are going to have a session on valuation rules, rule 27 to 32. Valuation rules were very, very important practically. When we have to take open market value, when we have to take cost plus 10%. In some cases, valuation rules are not applicable at all. What we need to add to the value, what we need to deduct from the value. So those all confusions will be eliminated tomorrow. So tomorrow we will have a discussion on valuation of supply. So by this, I hand over to the chairman.
Thank you very much, sir, for the detailed discussion. Thanks all the members and students for joining the conference. Tomorrow, we'll join at the same time, sharp 7 o'clock. Thank you. Thank you all.